It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Gents and ladies, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, it's time to trade. Let's start your brains like high-speed trains. Storm these games like hurricanes. It's time to save this herd this days. Put on your cape and learn the phrase. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Girls and boys, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of TA with MK. My name is MK. Today's episode, we're going to briefly discuss a strategy involving the 12-hour time frame for Bitcoin and making between 6 and 8 trades a year, being patient, and having the potential to 10x or 100x your original investment, depending on your risk tolerance. Now, this strategy does involve leverage trading, which is not something I promote or teach on my channel, but depending on your risk tolerance and if it's money you can afford to lose, I just want to show you briefly the possibilities. If you guys are liking the content, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's go. Okie dokie. Okay, so there won't be anything groundbreaking in this video as far as any trading strategy that's unheard of by any means. Basically, it's just going to be eyeing times when Bitcoin is severely oversold to short, real short-term trade in altcoin, right? Because we know Bitcoin moves X% and altcoins will move, an exaggerated of that, right? Bitcoin goes up 5%, your average altcoin is going to probably at least do double that, sometimes triple that, right? Maybe even more depending on the bullishness of the coin, the hype around it, etc., etc. So I'm not going to dive into the risks of leverage trading in this video. It's not something I suggest, and I trust that those watching this video aren't going to suddenly decide to hop in and start leverage trading. If you have questions in regards to that, go ahead and feel free to direct message me. But we're just going to go over a strategy that you can use combined with leverage trading, combined with using small amounts of your portfolio to potentially have large gains. Now, the entire concept revolves around Bitcoin being severely oversold on higher time frames, right? And in this example, we're going to use the 12-hour. The 12-hour is kind of that sweet spot where you can get in, 6 to 8 trades a year, and, they're low risk, potentially for high reward, and so on and so forth. So we're on the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. And what I've done is just using the RSI. So if we double click, that is this indicator down here, right? Just using the RSI, I have identified times when it was approaching 30, which 30 is a pretty oversold level as it relates to Bitcoin. Now, it can go a lot lower. It can go all the way to 0 essentially, but in its history on the 12-hour, at least for the past few years, you'll see that it usually stops somewhere between about 10 and 30, right? As far as before it has a bounce. So what I did over the past year is I just identified the times when the 12-hour is oversold, the 1-hour, and the 4-hour all at the same time. And that's why there's different colors here. You'll see a pink, you can see kind of a blue in there, and a white. And basically that's just, I put vertical lines, and then I went ahead and put dates as well as to the times when all three were oversold at the same time. 12-hour being the most important, obviously. All right, and the next thing I did was pretty simple. I just went through and put the dates down, right? So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the last calendar year that Bitcoin had on the 12-hour chart, 1, 4, and 12-hour chart, 12-hour being the important one, was oversold between levels of 10 and 30 all at the same time, right? The 1-hour and 4-hour, I like to see even more oversold. They're the ones I want to see closer to 10 and 20, while the 12 hours between 20 and 30. But at any rate, I identified 8 times, and I put the dates down. The next thing I did is I just chose a coin that I knew had been strong over the past year during the bull run, right? And I went with FTM. So here's FTM. And on FTM, I went ahead and with white vertical lines, I identified those exact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times as well, right? Now we'll just hop back over really quick to the Bitcoin chart just to kind of show you what bounces Bitcoin got at those levels, right? So it was severely oversold on the 12-hour on May 18th. Max bounce out of Bitcoin for that was 40%. The next one was 80%. So you had some huge bounces there when it got oversold. Here it was only 13%. Here is the smallest one I think that I identified. It was only about 5 to 6%. Before, further downside, here was about 12.5%, 38%, almost 30%, and 8.5%, right? And then on those same dates, if we go over here to the FTM chart that I had pulled up, it saw 62%, 280%, 150%, about 50%, another 50%, about 26%, nearly 60%, and a little over 10%, right? Now, I don't want to dive too much into risk tolerance in this video because that's kind of not the point of this video. We're just going over a hypothetical scenario, but you would want to have a stop loss in place somewhere around like 5% on average. If the coin drops down 5%, with leverage, that'd be 25%. Because it's 5x, right? And so that's what you'd be risking potentially if it hits your stop loss. On the flip side of that, if the coin goes up 10% or so, you'd want to move your stop loss to break even. That way, worst case, you either, you make nothing, and then best case, you make the 10 or 20% move that you're looking at, right? And so I have two scenarios that I've put over here on a notepad, just calculated it out. Scenario one is you're looking for a 10%, you've opened up your leverage trade, right? On FTM in this case, and you're looking for a 10% move out of the coin. Now, on this chart out here with FTM, every single bounce that Bitcoin had, FTM at the very least did that. It did 60%, almost 300%, 150, 50. The lowest was the recent one, which were, beginning kind of a major downtrend. So that makes sense. This most recent bounce out of FTM, it was only 10%, well, almost 11%, right? So back to here. Scenario one, we're looking for a 10% move out of the coin, at which point you're disciplined and you close the trade, right? Start with $1,000. And after 7 trades, you are at $17,000, right? So in 1 year, you waited patiently, you only made 7 trades in the whole year, and you turned $1,000 into $17,000, right? And then in scenario 2, a little easier math, this scenario is you're wanting to see a 20% move potentially out of the coin. Now again, you would move your stop loss to break even once it was up 10%, and you would move your stop loss to, to 10% profits once it was approaching 15 or higher, right? You'd want to make sure you're locking in profits. But for this example, scenario 2, you're looking for a 20% move out of the coin, which means 100% move with 5x leverage, right? You start with $1,000, and after 7 trades, you've turned $1,000 into $128,000, right? And then to finish up today's video, I just wanted to zoom into the RSI as it currently stands on the Bitcoin 12-hour, right? And we're currently sitting at around 38. Obviously, it's been pulling back. Bitcoin's been pulling back today, and this RSI level is on the 12 hours coming down, but it still has a lot of room to go, right? But what I've set my alert for is the 30. My goal is to open a trade, and we'll discuss, in future videos what coin that will be. I wouldn't know yet. To me, it'd be more wait and see when Bitcoin reaches that level, and then kind of see what coins I think have news or, a catalyst that could lead to a stronger bounce, because that's the whole idea, right? But at any rate, I've set an alert down here at 30, and if that alert triggers sometime over the coming days or weeks, we'll make a video where we discuss what coin I'm going to potentially trade, and we'll go from there. So keep tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you are, don't be shy. Leave a comment in the comments section. Remember to like and subscribe and share the video. And just keep in mind that you can use a calculator, toy around with the numbers. I've actually messed around with ideas of only using 2x leverage, but more money, 3x leverage, slightly less money, and so forth. So the key is you're buying at times when Bitcoin is severely oversold. So a bounce is almost inevitable. Now, you don't know how big of a bounce you're going to get. In some cases, it's not very big, but altcoins tend to bounce harder than Bitcoin. You could also toy around with different coins. I just chose FTM in today's example because that's a very strong coin during this entire bull run that we went through. You could switch it up each time. Maybe there's a coin with news that hey, if Bitcoin's super oversold, this coin's going to bounce hard this time. Maybe it's a different coin the next time. At any rate, toy around with it. Leave me some comments in the comments section, and we'll catch you guys next time. It's TAwithMMK.